Okay, just a couple things. Practice 12 this morning. We were in shells. Really a lot of throwing the ball around, pass protection. I can't say enough about the energy of this group and how they're practicing. 12 really good days in a row. Again, everything's not perfect, but we're getting a little better each day. The energy's been outstanding. Really like the schedule that we're doing. The players like it. So I'm excited where we're at right now. We're getting close to the end of camp. After this next scrimmage, we'll start focusing in on some of our opponents. But right now, we're going to finish camp strong. I really like where everybody's at, and it was a good day today.
Have you had a chance to review some of the tape from last scrimmage? And I know you said you were going to look at that to make some depth chart decisions. Have you looked at that?
Yeah, we went through it with the offense and defense, and I probably watched it 3 or 4 times since then at night. And I've got me a nice bed up there in my office. I've been sleeping here, so I'm not late. I don't want to be late early in the morning. But, I thought the effort was good. We had too many penalties offensively, some self-inflicted wounds that cost us some drives, and then some, our D-line was rolling pretty good and, got some pressure, especially on our two offensive line, but I thought the ones did pretty good. I thought Colin looked really sharp. Warren Jackson had a great day. So those are guys I like. Marvin had a great day. Marvin's been practicing well. Tell you else has been practicing well is Christian Hunter, the freshman from California. Really like what I see out of him. The freshman Nuri has done a good job. He's working his way into the rotation. Still young and still raw. Defensively, Andre Neal had an outstanding scrimmage. He's been able to play some man-to-man. He's good in zone. He's long. He's got length, which helps against number 9, Warren Jackson. Tron Folsom had a really good scrimmage. He's moved up to the number 1 wheel. And then Toby McBride has moved up, to the number 1 nose or tackle, depending on the formation. So those are some changes we made. But again, those guys, Cam Carter's rolling and Big Baby Devin Phillips is still rolling. But there's good competition, which is good. That's what I like to see. I think we got competition at every spot. Nobody's relaxing out there, and that's a good thing.
You mentioned that you like the run blocking in the scrimmage. Are you getting closer to identifying that starting 5? I know 5 been more than 5 anyway.
Yeah, we're getting closer. Barry was out, so that was getting Barry back in and trying to figure out what we're going to do with Barry and kind of. How we're going to align these guys is what we're working on this week. So we'll probably try a couple of different lineups in the scrimmage. But overall, I like where we're at. I like, we know what to do, which is better than we did last year. We're not perfect, but we're on the same page and giving us a chance.
Barry's versatility is obviously a bonus for the staff, but do you ever worry about he becomes a jack of all trades and not a master of none?
No, not really. You got to do that. You talk to any coach, and there's got to be a lineman that's got to be able to play multiple positions. It's got to be a swing guy tackle. It's just the way it is. And Barry's been in the program long enough and understands. But he's primarily worked guard for us. We haven't moved him around this fall camp. He's worked guard, but he's got to know every other position and be able to swing if we were to have an injury. Yeah, I love the way Colin's practicing. He's been very sharp. He's had 2 interceptions till today. He had 1 today on a 3rd down. Ian dropped out, and he didn't see him. But only 3 interceptions, and he's probably over 320 attempts. And that's not, that's everything we do. That's not counting one-on-one or stuff like that, but it's team-oriented stuff. Understanding, we broke the huddle today, and we lined up in the wrong formation, and he took command and basically got on whoever lined up wrong, but rehuddled, which, we wouldn't be able to do that in a game, but just set the standard for how we're going to break the huddle and where we're going to go. And that's, he's playing outstanding, and the guys have a lot of confidence in him. The other guy's playing outstanding is Warren Jackson, man. He is playing great. He's trying to get on every special team. There's something different about him right now. He's always been a good player for us, but he's stepping up.
Preston's gone, BC's gone, these guys, Michael Gallup, all these guys he's sort of watched.
Yeah, I think all that helps. These guys were able to do this, in this offense and perform. But he knows he's got to that right and that trust from us coaches to be that guy. And, he's not, I'm sure that's in all of them's mind. They won't catch us, don't get me wrong. But this guy's just working, whether it's run blocking, whether it's playing special teams, whether it's playing receiver. He's really at a different pace than, any of the other receivers we've had before. Just his mentality in practice and how he's focused on every drill. I won't call them other guys prima donnas, but they were, they were pretty, but Warren's just taking upon himself to lead. We put him in a leadership position, this year in January, and he was kind of shocked that I did that with him. But he's taken, command of not only his team, but his group of receivers, the offense. I mean, even last night at walkthrough, he's telling people to lock in, and it's on punt team. I really like where he's at.
Are you starting to hone in on potential kick and punt returners, and do those possibly change, when you're at altitude compared to not, with fewer returns at
Yeah, it is harder to get returns. Punts, tend to go, a little bit higher and a little bit longer. But the thing about punts, sometimes kids will outkick their coverage in this altitude. But we feel good about a couple guys. I'm not going to tell you who because give a scout report to Colorado. The kick return guys, we've got some young guys that have showed flashes. And and I'm going to say this about this kid. I haven't. It's Anthony Hawkins. You're talking about returners. He was our kick returner last year, but he's played unbelievable for 12 practices. Coach Janczyk says he's going to call him Anthony now instead of Hawk because he's a different person. And we had several conversations in the off season about him playing to his potential. Doing the things right too, because he's got short area quickness. He's got strength. He just hasn't, for whatever reason, been the guy that he thinks he should be or we think he should be. And he's taken ownership, and he's had a great camp, and I'm really, really proud of him.
Mike, you talked earlier about when we were talking about the accountability teams, leadership groups. You talked about DeQuan basically drafted a whole bunch of guys that you didn't think were necessarily the guys you would have picked, and yet he said they won this one.
They did win the first one. He drafted some guys that I probably wouldn't pick. Devin Phillips was one of them.
Devin's the one that told me.
Yeah, okay, and they're roommates. We're sitting in that draft, and he said, "Give me Devin. He's my roommate. We're gonna get him right." And Devin, won the Scholar of the Semester Award, which was outstanding over there in our academic center. It was constant praise for him, how he approached everything. And I think it was DeQuan, but I think it was like, the whole team counting on him. He had to do things right. And, really, really proud of him. He's had another great semester this summer. And I think that's DeQuan's influence. And I think that's Devin maturing, growing up. All freshmen go through things.
How much do you think DeQuan affected that whole group though? Because Taiwan Francis, I guess, was part of it too.
Yeah, he picked Taiwan too. Well, I mean, he's got alpha male personality where he doesn't mind calling people out, and that's good things and bad things. Putting his arm around them and telling them to hold, do the certain things. He's moved up to our first team, Mike, because he's got a command of the defense, and he's a guy that's relishing his role. Mike linebacker is similar to a quarterback of the offense, and he was basically that quarterback of his team. And as he grows and he matures, he'll end up being one of our better leaders for the whole football team and be able to cross over offense and defensively. I think he's one of those guys.
The freshman wide receivers have made some plays in the individual drills. Dante Wright, Ty McCullough, Jalen Hurst. How do you feel that those guys have progressed within the offense itself?
Well, I think we got a talented group of young receivers. I think I said this in the first or second press conference. They're young. We got Warren and we got Nico, and Brendan Fulton's been out basically the whole camp. Warren's the only guy that's played a lot, and these young receivers have been put in position to make plays. They're getting constant opportunities. We're still install. We've had 12 days of install. We've put in everything that we possibly could run, and there's some mistakes, but these guys are learning at a very, very high rate, and those guys have done extremely well. Dante Wright, his opportunity, to run with the ones happened really, really fast when Fulton went down with an ankle, and he's rose to the occasion, man. He is a guy that constantly makes plays. I held the team yesterday in a team meeting. It's about production, You know, are you producing? You know, and he's a guy that's constantly produced, and the two other guys are coming along. Jalen Hurst has probably had his best week of the camp. Ty McCullough as well. Both of them, you know, have things that you know, can help us, but we just got to continue. They're not there yet, but we got to continue to put them in situations where you know, when the season starts, it could be ready. Game 4, Game 5, they're ready to help us.
Nick Stevens is working as offensive coordinator down there at Foster Ridge. Have you talked to him at all?
The last time I talked to Nick, we gave him access to our Thundercloud, which what gets, you know, all the cut-ups. You know, we have master cut-ups of every play we've run against every front, you know, every concept, passing concept. And Nick, you know, I've said this before, is one of the smartest guys. You know, he's not the most talented, not most arm strength, but a guy that, you know, really ran this offense at a high level. Yes, we had some talent around him with, you know, Gallup and Dalen Dawkins, but he set the standard for the quarterback play. Just did things at a high rate, and he's going to do it. I'm glad he's in coaching. I think he's got a great demeanor. He's got an even temperament, which is good. You know, sometimes my temperament, you know, I get too up and down, but he's got an even temperament, and I think that's good for a guy that's going to call plays, and he's extremely smart. He's just got to figure out, you know, which one is he at? Fossil Ridge. Fulton's dad, yeah. He's got to figure out I don't know if I can even say that, Fossil Ridge. He's got to figure out, I didn't say that. He's got to figure out what his players can do, you know, and come up with that. That's the big thing. You know, there's a ton of great ideas out there, a way to do things, but you got to figure out what your players can do and make them successful.
Coach, you said you liked what Christian Hunter has done so far through 12 practices. What does he kind of bring to the game that Marcus and Marvin?
Well, he's got energy. He's a little bit quicker. With short area quickness. You know, I don't know if he has the long speed that either one of those guys do, but he has really, really good speed. He's a guy that's already starting on, I believe, on 2 special teams, and that's because of just his attention to detail. You know, yesterday he had a great day. He just hits the hole, and he's got some, you know, everybody's seen his tape. He's got a little bit of wiggle and be able to sidestep guys, and, you know, he's not afraid. So, which is, you know, always a good thing for a running back. As usual, all young running backs, pass protection is probably the last thing that comes, but he's learning.
Mike, I know there's a few sets of brothers on this team, but looking at Toby and Trey McBride, have you enjoyed watching those two?
Yeah, I'm so excited for Toby to get back. It's been he's been up and down for Toby. A year and a half since he's actually played, and then he went through spring and got hurt again. It wasn't his back, but his knee, and you know, it's a guy struggling with, you know, am I going to stay healthy? And I thought we had a really, really good plan in the weight room and the training room to get him back where he could be productive. And now that he's having some production, I feel his confidence level has gone extremely high. And, you know, we're close to Friday. It'll be 2 weeks to the game. You know, our goal last week was let's let him rep a lot, you know, and then start, you know, not gear him down in the scrimmage, but this first scrimmage, let's let him rep a lot and see where he's at. And I think it gave him a ton of confidence. Now, he's got to be smart, and we still got to be smart of limiting, you know, basically putting him on a snap count.
With him and Trey
And-
going against each other, you noticed,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of brotherly love?
Well, Trey's inside. I mean, Toby's inside and Trey's outside, but you know, they pull for each other. There's a lot of competition out there. You know, they're very. The two brothers are real tight with the two Panunzio brothers. You always see them around. They're great kids. You know, they work extremely hard, and you know they all got different personalities. And Trey is, is really, really excited for his brother. They want to play together. That was one of the motivating factors for Toby to want to come back. It'd have been easy to say, hey, I can't play anymore. But he worked himself back in position where he can give us some quality reps because he wanted to play with his brother. And you know, I'm excited to see them two go out and play together this year.
Hey, Mike, what made Joe Cox the right guy to replace Alvis in that?
Yeah, Joe has a great demeanor. He has a ton of energy, and he's extremely smart. Extremely smart. And he can give the picture to the receivers of the perspective of the quarterback and how things are supposed to develop. And those guys, you know, obviously, you know, losing Alvis, you know, that we were excited for him and didn't want that to happen. But, you know, to be able to have a guy like Joe who's, you know, been in this system, played for me, you know, GA'd for us and was a full-time coach and just understands everything we're trying to do, even in the run game. it's been a big plus. And he's got those guys playing at a high level. He's a good mentor for those guys. He does a great job of, they're constantly at his house and with his daughter. And, you know, he's a guy that's got a bright future in his business. At really any position. I mean, I think he could coach offensive line. I can't coach offensive line. I mean, I think he could.
Does he approach everything similar to Elvis, or is he kind of?
No, he's different. He's his own guy. He's his own guy. I always tell coaches, you got to be who you are. You can't come out there and try to be Elvis, and you know they're gonna see that you're not who you are. So if Joe's who he is, you know he's gonna coach and he's gonna demand they do it right. And you know he's a little bit more vocal than Elvis, but that's okay. Elvis was not as vocal. It doesn't really matter. It's your style and being genuine. If you're who you are, they're going to trust that. If you're trying to be somebody else and change from day to day, then that's when you lose your trust of your players and the belief.